Ah, there you are. Splendid. Let's sort this microphone out. Jolly good. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Monday Night Live with me, Boaty. And I'm settling in for the long haul tonight. It's Monday. That means it's double diamond doings or something like that. What it basically means is that we're going to sit and share 2 hours together, my darlings. And it's going to be all of this usual nonsense, tripe and piffle waffle that you've all come to expect, with a bit of lovely community kindness thrown in and just catching up with each other, really. I mean, it's we've not been together since, well, this afternoon technically, but that doesn't count, does it? That's a different sort of dynamic when there's a few of us shoved into a small caravan full of Turkish cuisine. So, excuse me. You're gonna have to excuse me being a bit coffee again tonight. I am getting over the lurgy thing, but hey ho. Now then, 2 things to be aware of tonight. Number 1, if you are if you are viewing on a browser rather than the app, you will see that there is currently a live Q&A session running. It should be pinned to the top of your chatty message box thing. And what that means is that you can put a question in there, and I can press something and I can answer it. And I've already got some, so that's jolly good. Or you can just comment as usual in this. And the other thing is, at 11 o'clock, I am going to give away, free of charge, out of my own pocket, no fewer than 5 connoisseur top-level channel memberships. So do be around and watching live at 11 o'clock. And if you're not already a channel member, you could very easily become one without it costing you a bean. So that's good, isn't it? Let's say hello to some people. Jimmy Quinn, good evening to you. Good evening, Boaty and all. Barry, that guy from SETI Alpha 5, good evening from a snowy mid-Missouri. It's lovely and mild here, isn't it? Although it's going to be getting colder. Thursday, I think. It's going to be getting colder. James Ray, Jim is with us. Good evening, Boaty and all. Hope you all had a great weekend. And we hope that you did too, Jim. Thank you for being here. Lord Stiff Upper Lip is right in our midst. He's right in the middle of us, hoping to be tickled, although he won't admit that. Hello, Jason and the Argonauts. Pingu Concord is here. Word up, respectable Reverend Rascal. Yes, for those who don't know, I genuinely am an ordained Reverend Minister of the Church. Bless you, my children. Vindaloo is with us. Oh, Vindaloo. I see what you did there. Vindaloo. I didn't spot that until I actually read it out. Vindaloo. Good evening, Mr. Boaty. Well, jolly good evening to you, Vinda. Hope you are well and in good health. I can't complain. Apart from this annoying cough, that is the last vestige of the lurgy that held me in its grasp for the best part of 2 weeks, I'm all good and feeling fine and dandy, full of piss and vinegar, as our American friends would say. But even the cough, there is some good news. You know how when you've had a lurgy or a cold or a flu or whatever, you get that phase where everything kind of tightens up. Well, I mean, I'm sorry to mention it, but all the mucus tightens up. And you kind of can't expectorate properly. Well, I've had that for about 3 or 4 nights. And that's meant that I've not been able to sleep through. I've been waking up at 6 o'clock all wheezy and not breathing, and then have to spend 10 or 15 minutes because there's some little gobbit of rubbish that the lurgy is created somewhere in the internal doings. But this morning, I'm happy to report that I slept right the way through until my bladder demanded that I stumble to the toilet. I almost said something then, and I'm so glad I didn't. Anyway, back to Vindaloo. Oh, Claudia Winkleman has been in contact. Oh, sorry. Has Claudia Winkleman been in contact with you about spending the night with you? I've been a bit busy. I might have missed her call or text, or I'll check my messages later on. Hey, chat and hey, Boaty, says John Stoodley, who is safely home, and that's good. I wonder if Joe's home yet. What time is it? 10 o'clock. He's not going to be home yet, is he? Bless him. He's still going to be driving. He might be listening. You never know. If he's still driving, he might be listening. Or if he's got any sense, he'll be concentrating on the road. But hi, John. It was lovely to see you again today. Pingu asks, are you going to respray Lewis Corsa Rosso for next season? No. Here's the short and easy answer to that. What? Spray Leals? Oh, Lewis it's supposed to be. Spray Lewis on gay pride and other stuff that he's into. I would be very happy to do that. I'm a huge supporter of gay pride. And I would be very happy to drive around in a car that said so. Hello all, how are we doing today? Asks Neil. Welcome, Neil. Lovely to have you here. What's all this with question and answer? I've just read one of the questions. I thought we'd add a little bit of something. I thought we'd add a Q&A. So if there's something that you would like to ask me that you would genuinely be interested in learning the answer to, you can do it and I will answer fully and honestly. But there's a question there from Ben and it is just genius. Good evening, says Bad Books. Good evening to you. Pingu says they call him Boaty Sputum because he's got the lurgy. They probably do. Hello. Evening all from Stefan Justin. Good evening to you both. Hope everyone's Monday has gone well. Pingu's asking John if he got home okay. Is there any news on the City Rover, says Lord Stiff Upper Lip. No news really. There's only 4 of us in the consortium. And I think with only 4, the car might end up being a bit too expensive for 4 of us to manage within ourselves. I really should get that chat set up so we can quickly discuss it. Oh, Ben. Oh, Ben, you are wonderful. Now then, what's this needing measuring? That is, of course, a little cheeky tribute to the artist formerly known as Allegro Man, who is now known as Measuring Man. I like that. Now then. Oh, dear. Oh, gosh. Right. Joe won't be back until 1 a.m. Oh, dear. Oh, I forgot he was stopping off at yours, Neil. It's her loss if she doesn't contact you, says Vindaloo, and I think we'd all agree with that, apart from most of us. Evening all, says Chris Maguire. The City Rover is at 600 quid, says Ben. Frank G _05. Evening, Boaty and all. Hope you're all doing well. That gobshite again, says Barry. Is he never off the air? Right, I've caught up with your comments. So I'm going over to the Q&A. And I think Right. So, for those of you on a browser, the first question that I will answer has popped up. And it is from Pingu. And the question is, how many passengers can fly on the Concorde? Right. I don't know if this is a trick question or not. The answer to that, Pingu, is no passengers can fly on the Concorde because they are all grounded and have been for some 20 years. But if you mean how many passengers could fly on Concorde when it was operational, then if memory serves, depending on how the plane was configured, it was somewhere between 92 and 120 passengers. But British Airways Concords, when in operational non-charter status, were, as far as I'm aware, always set up for exactly 100 passengers. If you've never been on Concorde, quite small in there, a lot smaller than you would think. Passengers are seated two abreast either side of the cabin. So hope that's an answer to that. And then we've got another one from Pingu. And he asks, this will be flashing up on your screen now. How many fish can penguins eat in one average Boaty day? Well, let's call a Boaty day a normal day, shall we? Okay. Well, on average, Pingu, a penguin will eat around 16 fish a day. Now, obviously, it's going to depend on the size of the fish, but on average, you're looking about 16. There are records of penguins in captivity eating up to 70 a day, believe it or not, but that is not the norm. Excuse me a moment, I'm going to top up my water. Mr. Sandman, give me some doings. If I had 16 buttocks, I'd give 14 to you. Then you'd have 16 buttocks, but I'd have only 2. A nice little song about buttocks there for you. Let's get back to the old massages here, shall we? Sophie is with us. Hi, everyone. How are we all? It's been a lovely day. And hello, Boaty. And how's your day been? My day has been lovely, Soph. And thank you for being here. Hope your day was all good. Steph says, Boaty, Justin, which is Steph's other half, you all know him. He's got quite the reputation. Oh, yes. Justin reckons you need your own jingle when you are starting your live streams. We will all be alerted by the Boaty jingle. Well, Steph, I used to have one. As long-term viewers will know, the live stream did always used to start with a work entitled Mr. George Rajabati. But that was when it was before the little happenstance with the old neighbour. So the live streams used to start with the jingle and music playing out of a speaker that is up there that you can't see. And that used to be it. And then I used to play you out on the other side of the live stream with some pleasant fart music. But since I started having to use the microphone to keep the noise down, so I'm not having to shout at the portable electric telephone, the intro doesn't really work. I've tried it using various methods, and with an external microphone, it just doesn't work. So I kind of gave up on it. I still do it on high days and holidays when the neighbour's not in and I can let loose. In fact, we had the fart out the other night, didn't we? Ben says, if the passenger is Father Boticus, talking about Concorde, 1, leaving room for every air hostess available and a fully stocked hostility trolley. Yes. Yeah. Oh, air hostesses. God. When I was doing the commute to and from Chicago after that blind date, and I just stayed out there. but had to come back obviously regularly to attend to business and whatnot. Then I used to fly with Virgin back then, and you get to know them, and I became very familiar with their stopover pattern. And I was invited to some of the parties, and I tell you, if and obviously when I was with Lisa, and Lisa was running the airline, I used to go to a lot of airline parties, and there is no party like an airline party, especially if it's a stopover party somewhere else. My God Almighty, you think the Rolling Stones did some damage to hotel rooms? You just watch a Virgin Atlantic crew when they haven't got to fly the next morning and see what happens. Bloody hell. How often does Sloth do a number 2? Says Frank. Not a clue. Boaty, I love you, says Lord Stiff Upper Lip. I love you too. Trisha Alderman is with us. Hello, Boaty, Sophie, and all in chat. Hope you've had a good day. And we hope you have too, Trisha. Sub the neighbours, Boaty, says Steph. Your audience needs a jingle. I have looked at using streaming software, third-party streaming software, so that I could do all sorts of clever things, including intros and jingles. Haven't quite got my head around it yet, but I will try to. Absolutely correct, Barry. Air hostesses are like nurses. Leave your trousers at home. Well, I mean, that's a bit of a generalization, but you're not far wrong. You are right, Boaty, says Jimmy Quinn. Concorde is 92 to 128 seats. I'm a big collector of Concorde memorabilia. Oh, fair play to me then. Obviously, as you know, Jimmy, I'm a little bit obsessed with Concorde too, and have been ever since both I and Concorde were young. Another great day at the yard, says John. Big thanks to Joe for taking me and bringing me home, and also to Boaty and Mustard. Great, genuine people. Yeah, we are genuine people. We're not made up. We're not a figment of your imagination. I sometimes wish Mustard was a figment of my imagination, particularly at the beginning of today. He was being an absolute pain in the arse. Funny though. Sophie says, Trish, I've had a good day, thank you. Back on my course tomorrow. Yeah, quite so, Pingu. In fact, I had some mustard on my sausage for breakfast this morning. I did a thing. I cooked 2 sausages and put them in the fridge, and I had one for breakfast this morning, and I will have the other for breakfast tomorrow, in a bit of bread. Same engine in Concorde as in the Avro Vulcan, says Barry, and they used a Vulcan to test the Olympus 594. And Neil helpfully says, I always thought Boaty was a genuine tosser. Right, let's get back to the Q&A here, shall we? How many Rover 25s are left in Rochdale? Well, I can tell you it's going to be one fewer on Saturday, Pingu, because I have sold one of them. And on Saturday, it will be going to the lovely new owner. And then Ben has come in with the best question ever. Let's just highlight this for you. I love this. This is why I love these live streams, these moments. Ben asks, where was the Reverend Whiston at Notting Hill Gate in 79 during the worst flab riots this country's ever seen? And if you don't know why that is funny, then the worst flab riots the country's ever seen. Flab, by the way, is or was a movement called Fat Louts Against Bikinis, and basically they demanded the force feeding of skinny, the banning of the word ample, God. That was one of the best sketches ever. If you've not seen it, jump onto YouTube and have a look for it. It's not the 9 o'clock news. And I'm on some of Mustard's videos in the very early days. I had a habit of turning up and just launching into parts of that exact sketch. Can I still do my Janet Street Porter? Fat, porky, wobble bottom. These are all terms of abuse aimed at the overweight in our society. If you've never seen it, you won't know what I'm talking about. But trust me, it's very funny. Barry says, I met Ty, the Concorde test pilot, at somewhere in 2015. Nice guy. Ty. Oh, sorry, John Ty. John Ty. The original Concorde test pilot was Trubby, wasn't it? Brian Trubshaw. But I'm sure there was more than one. I have a joke, says Soph. What did one ocean say to the other ocean? We don't know, Sophie. You tell us. You can't talk, you great wobble bottom. All right, let's get into this fully. Here we go. Well done, Neil. Look at this slimming magazine. Slimming magazine. This isn't a million miles from what Adolf Hitler was trying to do. Oh, and nothing, it just waved is the answer to that. Very good joke there, Trophy. We demand a fat prime minister, more obesity in the media, the banning of the word ample. We want the force feeding of skinny. No, you're doing more harm than good. The Reverend. Where was the Reverend? Oh, dear. Do yourselves a favour. Just go onto YouTube and search for the best bits of not the 9 o'clock news or something if you've not seen them. Good evening, Boaty and all, says Greg Goddard. I do love lives. I should comment more. Well, I love all of your comments. We all love all of your comments. It's what makes this fine community what it is. Now let's have a look. Where was the Reverend Whiston? Oh dear. A question from Barry. Jim Clark or Ayrton Senna? Well, I don't fancy either of them, if that's what you're asking. But if you mean who do I think was a better driver, then, and this might be controversial, I would pick Jim Clark every single time. I'll highlight that. There we go. How many cheeseburgers could a reverend eat in one sitting without being sick? Well, if it was this reverend, then none. If I had one bite of a cheeseburger, I would be sick because it has cheese in it. And cheese is not something that should be eaten by human beings, as far as I'm concerned. Right. Has anybody got an idea for a poll? I wouldn't mind doing a poll. And I don't mean, podgering an attractive Polish lady, although I wouldn't mind doing that. Oh, God, there was a very attractive Polish lady I had a bit of a thing with for a while. She was absolutely splendid. First class, top drawer. And very unusually for me, she was blonde. And historically, I had no kind of thing for blondes, but she was really funny. And that sort of made up for it. Not that it's something you need to make up for. It's just that I used to be normally attracted to brunettes. I used to past tense because, let's face it, those days are gone. I'm a fat, toothless old fart now that nobody within their right mind would look at once, let alone twice. Unless they've known me for a while and they just put up with me. Oh, well spotted, Mr. Stephen Parry from Port Sunlight in the Whittle. There is indeed something missing on the table. Forgive me. Darlings, I give you the glove of self-love. There you go. Ron, you're doing the movement more harm than good. Now sit down. Yeah. Oh, hello. Oh, John. Okay, mate. Okay, noted. Noted. Organising plump discos, I expect. Oh, God. Oh, Neil's got an opinion on my opinion. Senna was a way better driver all round. He pushed the boundaries more. And Sophie says, my mum knows someone who she used to know from school and lives in Rochdale. There we are. It's a small world, isn't it? Oh, a question from Steph. Let's highlight this. Claudia Winkleman or Sophie Ellis Bextor? Oh, now then. It's got to be Claudia. It's got to be Claudia. Yeah, Claudia. Definitely 100% Claudia. But if Claudia wasn't available and Sophie Ellis Bextor was, then that would be absolutely fine. I wouldn't quibble. Well, I might have a little quibble. I like a little quibble. And what's a little quibble? Both, says Jimmy. You greedy boy. But dear me, Jimmy, at our age, that could be fatal. That could be fatal, dear boy. Don't forget, darlings, do stick around at 11 o'clock. I am going to give away, what am I going to give away? I'm going to give away 5 top-level channel memberships. And remember, being a top-level channel member means that you get benefits and perks that are, quite frankly, beyond your wildest dreams. Oh, yes. Oh, and let's just raise a glass to me, because I have sold a car today. So, yay! Well done, me. And for those who are interested in the, oh, God, what did I call it again? The Great Mustard and Boaty Sales Week. What did I call it? The Great Mustard and Boaty Sales Week thing. Anyway, whatever it's called, I've forgotten what I called it now. Mustard is 2 points ahead of me on it because he sold the Golf 2 weeks before I sold Johnny Crook. So he does have a 2-point advantage. And Mr. Stephen Parry from Port Sunlight in the Wheel says, is the old man you, Boaty? Yeah, yes, I am the old man. Have you got your eyes on any ladies at the moment you like? Oh, God, yeah, loads. Loads. Just because you get old and hopeless, you don't stop looking. I mean, we get some corkers coming into the restaurant on a nightly basis. It's now past. And I've been a very good boy. I haven't jumped up and down from my seat for a full half an hour. I'm going to bloody do it now, though. But it doesn't matter. I can still keep talking at you. And it gives you a chance to ask some questions. What have I done with that now? Where's that gone? Oh, that's really annoying. Oh, yes. Now, yard day today. If you're interested, I went in Dicker Dum Dum and we did a bit of filming with him. And what's that stupid card of mustard called? Prince Albert. Prince Albert, that's right. And we had lunch and we went to Istanbul. And we played just a minute. And it was all jolly good fun. Sophie Ellis Bextor is the best, says Sophie Ellis Bextor. Well, you would think so. How much did the 25 go for, says Frank? I've been too busy to look. Jim says, glad the selling is going well. As Delboy once said, it's only ever had one owner and it was a reverend. Yeah. Oh, dear. Yeah, thank you, Sophie. Oh, and thank you, Ivor Spotty Butty, for reminding everybody that I did slip off a lady in a cheap hotel in North Wales. God, I'm never going to live that down, am I? I've got no shame. I will admit it. For those who don't know, you see, you can't hold me to ransom and shame me if I shame myself first, can you? So I will get in first and I will happily admit that I fell off both a lady and a bed in that order in a cheap hotel in North Wales in the wee small hours of the morning with quite a lot of wine washing around me. Good breakfast, though. That girl in your restaurant, Boaty, is a looker, says Jimmy Quinn. Absolutely, and young enough to be my great-granddaughter. I was talking about the customers, not the staff. And even if I was 40 years younger, I wouldn't be going there. You don't mess with, oh my God almighty. Do you want to imagine Ferdlinger Gurkha's daughter? I mean, for a start, it's not on in their culture. There's no there's none of that business before marriage. Thank you very much. And if you did, then they would be coming after you with a very large knife. And as I understand it, you would have two options. You marry them immediately, or you die painfully. So there we are. Like a slightly operated version of a Carry On film. Prince Albert sounds like it needs a punctured inner tube. Prince Andrew, says John. Oh, whatever. Andrew. Don't forget to leave a Bible in the glove box, says Pingu. Side shuffle and floor. Yes, Neil. Yes. I wish I'd never bloody told you. I wish I'd never bloody told you. I could have not told you. Well, I didn't tell you to begin with. I just told you I fell off the bed. I didn't mention that jogging bottoms were involved. God almighty. I mean, I'm a humble man. And ultimately, my life has been a dismal failure. And at the age of nearly dead, I've ended up living in a damp old cottage in the arse end of nowhere, teetering on the very brink of poverty with nobody around me. But before that happened, I had rather an interesting and rather a good life. And it's somewhat annoying that of all the things that I've done in my life, all of the things that I could be remembered for, I'm going to be remembered for falling off a bloody Liverpudlian in a real travelodge, aren't I? It'll be on my sodding gravestone. Not here lies Boaty, the greatest cycling talent that Great Britain ever produced. Not here lies Boaty, he was pretty damn good singer in his day. Not here lies Boaty, hell of a businessman. No, here lies Boaty, who slid off a Liverpudlian and then fell off the bed. Bloody hell. I hope none of you sods write my obituary. Now then. Oh, Claudia Winkleman Sophie Ellis-Bextor, or Mary Berry? Bloody hell, Vindaloo. We're going back into Opwap. It would still be Claudia Winkleman. Yeah, thanks, Soph. I'm glad that you're still laughing and crying about me falling out of bed. Bloody hell. Is every live stream going to come back to that? I should never have told you. Next time something like that happens, I'm not going to tell you. I shall keep it private. Some of you probably wish I did. Don't forget, 11 o'clock, we are going to be giving away those channel memberships. Let's have a look at these questions. Valerie Leon or Barbara Windsor, asks Ivor Spotty Butty. Well, I don't know who Valerie Leon is. I mean, I'm a fan of Barbara Windsor as an actress, but definitely not my type. So let's have a look at Valerie Leon and see what we make of her. I mean, there was a stunner in the Carry On films, wasn't there? An absolute stunner. I can't remember what she was called. But, oh, here we are, Valerie Leon, an English actress and model who's had roles in, right, let's have a look. Well, she's 80 years old, for God's sake. Oh, often referred to as the English Raquel Welch. Yeah, well, that's all very interesting, but there are no pictures. Hold on. Whoa. Oh, that's the one, isn't it? That's the one. Oh, I tell you what. Oh, dear me. Oh. Oh, what? Oh, my God. How can you even ask that question? Bloody hell. How can you even ask that question, Andrew? Bloody hell. Well, obviously, Valerie Leon. I mean, you know, not up for question. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, and let's have a look. Oh, dear me. What? Whoa, I should rub it up. Oh, look at this. Oh, they're nice. Lovely. Thanks for that, Andrew. Allegro Man or Rover Joe, says Pingu. I can't answer that. Do you like other colour cars or only silver? I love other coloured cars. I just had this weird thing that they should all be the same colour. My favourite colour is, well, different cars look good in different colours, don't they? My favourite colour is actually a Ford colour, and I can't remember what it's called. I had a Fiesta that was that colour, and oh lordy. Oh, good morning to you too, Valerie Leon. Dear me. Ford green. Ah, right, yeah. That's the colour that's my favourite. Ford Vitro Metallic. I think that's a fabulous colour. But there we are. Neil said, it was the fact you tried to take her off the bed with you that made me cry, says Neil. I didn't try to take her off the bed with me. I tried to cling on to her so that I didn't fall off the bed. I didn't deliberately try to take us both down. Bad books. Liverpudlian turned out to be a 45-year-old plumber. God. Carry on up the Boaty. That's her, tall brunette, says Andrew. Also did them aftershave ads. She's, whoa, dear me, very nice indeed. Please tickle the like button, chaps and chapettes, says John. And, well, that'd be very kind of you. And Andrew would do both. Well, it's very generous of you, Andrew. Which order? Barbara Windsor never did it for me. I mean, she's blonde, she's short, she's, well, I don't know what she was like in real life, but 1,000 likes, Sophie. Good luck with that. Bloody hell, good luck getting 1,000 likes when there's 33 of you watching. Let's have a look. Oh, another one from Barry. Lotus or Aston Martin? Again, that's an easy one. Aston Martin, every time. Although, I mean, I don't like Lotus cars on the whole. There are very few Lotus that I've got any time for. And even those, I don't like them all that much. Whereas Astons, there are some Astons I do have time for. Although, there was a period, just putting my wine in the freezer. There was a period where Astons were really, really overrated. I mean, they had the good sense to go down the good marketing route and do the James Bond thing. But if you've ever driven a DB5, bloody hell, they're not the best cars. Neither was the DB6, neither was the DBS. Really, I mean, let's go through the Astons. We'll ignore the early ones. DB4 looked amazing. The DB4 Zagato was probably one of the top 5 most beautiful cars ever made. 5 was crap, 6 was crap, S was crap. You got to get to the V8 really, the AMV8, which was starting to get into proper muscle car territory there, and was a bit of a brute. But I would love to drive. I came out of the game before, but I would love to drive like a Virage. I'd love to drive a DB7. I think I might like those very much. I certainly like the look of them, but I've never actually driven one. Oh, Neil would have gone for a bit of Bob Windsor. Fair play. Boaty, since passing your driving test, which cars would you like to have kept in the last 20 years? Is that? Also, if you had to sell all of your cars and only keep one, which one would you pick? Oh, now then. Since passing my driving test, the cars that I would like to have kept. Well, I've been doing a thing on my Facebook page of this, cars I wish I still owned. So let's go through those. Cars I wish I'd kept. Citroen BX GTI. Citroen CX GTI Turbo. 3-litre V6 SEI Citroen XM. Lincoln Continental Mark V Bill Blast Limited Edition. Lamborghini Espada. Ferrari 355. Bristol Beaufighter. 4.2 Range Rover LSE. That might be about, oh, Rover SD1 Vitesse, Rover SD1 Vanden Pla, an import LS400 with the most amazing spec of any car I've ever seen, and probably a Lexus Sora. There are probably more, but I can't remember them. And if I had to sell all of the cars and keep one, which would it be? Well, if I sold all of the cars and kept one, it would have to be a car that was suitable for daily use. So it would be Sheeson. Sheeson is the perfect all-around car. So I would sell all the others and I'll keep Sheeson. And obviously there's an emotional connection with Sheeson as well, because that was a car that Chinese Madam and I bought together. Now then, where do we get to? DB5 with the ZF gearbox was like driving a truck. It was. I liked the DBS and the DB9. DB7 was too tight to squeeze for me, and that's from Barry. As I say, I've not driven the DB7. I did watch James's video on his DB9 and thought, I wouldn't mind a bit of that. Right colour too. And I was going to mail him and see if we could do a deal. But then I remembered that I'm extremely poor and I couldn't afford to buy a loaf of bread off him, never mind an Aston Martin. Boaty McPodger and Co, says Stephen S. Paul. Hello, how are we all? The DB12 looks fantastic, says Jimmy Quinn. I would keep Stigba all day long. The V6 noise is very distinct. I agree, John, but if I had to use it every day, you'd soon get tired of it. Fuel economy is dreadful, and it's a really heavy car to maneuver about. Really not suitable as a daily. The F355 was the last really good-looking Ferrari, says Barry, and I think I think I would agree with that. God, yeah. I mean, Ferrari went through a bit of a patch, didn't they? The 348 was not really a very good-looking car. The 328 was classic, of course. Excuse me. But the 355 was a phenomenal looking car and a phenomenal driving car as well. It was just a car that Ferrari got dead right, really. And I know that they were mostly Rosso with Creamer. Mine was Giallo Fly with Nero, and it looked fantastic. Giallo Fly is the Ferrari yellow, by the way. Mine would be my old Saxo VTR in Forest Green, says Neil. 34k on the clock when I got rid of it for a Mark II Focus. So I wanted something bigger. Would be worth an easy £4,000 now. Cars I wish I'd kept, says Jimmy Quinn, would be the Rover P5B Coupe, the Fiat 130, Fiat 132. I love the Fiat 130, by the way. Jaguar E-Type and 1936 SS Jaguar, bloody hell, and an Audi 100 Coupe. Barry says, I wish I'd kept my Amiga. My favourite car to drive was a Capri 280. I had one of them, 280 Brooklands. I wish I'd kept my Maestro. I never had a nice Maestro, but I would like, I'd love a Maestro Turbo now. The only Maestro I ever owned was one I bought for Sasha to teach her to drive it. Well, no, she knew how to drive. She just kept failing her driving test. So I bought it to get her through a driving test in, and then to be her first car. But that was a very basic Maestro. God, I remember that thing. A Maestro Turbo would be something I would love now. I had a DB7 V12 for the day, says Bad Books, for my 50th. Lovely engine. Went like a scalded cat. They were a hell of a job to get in and out of. Oh, right. So it sounds like I wouldn't fit in the DB7 then. I love him too, John. I love Stigbutt too. No, let's just. When is the channel renaming committee considering Side Shuffle and Ram featuring Big Boaty? Oh dear. Ah, Steph. Let's highlight this one. Justin said, do you remember the Jensen 541 that Scott, Justin's brother, bought from your garage? Vaguely. In fact, I think I only ever had one 541 through, and I vaguely remember it. I don't remember it with particular accuracy, to be honest. Some cars I just don't for whatever reason. There's a couple of Interceptors that I remember particularly, especially the Mark IV. What an incredibly rare car that was. But I vaguely remember selling a 541, but not specifically. Ruby is the ideal daily, says Neil. Good on fuel, comfy, relatively quiet, and you can throw anything in the boot. Yeah, can't argue with that. Can't argue with that. And Ruby is, of course, Neil's ZTT. Milk, lemonade, or chocolate? Asks Ben. And are there any chewing the fat fans amongst us? I don't know what chewing the fat is. I'm going to close off the Q&A, darlings, once I figure out how to do it. Thank you for your questions. I don't know how to turn it off. Hold on. End Q&A. There we are. Right, that's all done. Jolly good. The Interceptor FF was my mum's dream car, says Barry. Okay. Oh, and Jimmy says, I had a Capri 3000E. I put 2 bags of sand in the boot to stop the arse from sliding. We all did that. Right. Competition then. Question time. The Interceptor FF. No Googling, right? No Googling. No cheating, please. You'd only be cheating yourself. What does the FF stand for in the Interceptor FF? And what makes the car a historical first? There you go. Get in there quickly and don't cheat. Don't cheat. John says, if I'd kept any of my cars, they would be my Rover 820 for Tess and my 827 Sterling. Oh, right, Barry straight in. Ferguson FWD, I think, half right. First car with 4-wheel drive. And Ben has got it exactly right. Ferguson Formula. That's what it stood for. The FF was Ferguson Formula. And they designed the 4-wheel drive system for the Interceptor, and it was the first production 4-wheel drive car. There you go. Captain Mustard has popped in to say he's way too busy with editing tonight to stay, and then he says sorry. Don't worry, we forgive you. Steph has got it right as well. Ferguson Formula, and Jimmy Quinn says it was the first 4 before. It was. And no, Ivor Spotty Botty, that's not what the FF stood for. Now then, in 4 minutes' time, darlings, I'm going to give away 5 top-tier channel memberships. And I'm going to pour a drink. So that's something to look forward to, isn't it? And then in the second half of tonight's live stream, we've got an hour to chat about anything you like. Anything you like. Any old tripe or piffle waffle. We can talk about it. I love the second hour of a Monday night. It's one of my favourite times. So, 34 of you watching. Boaty, have you had the bottle of wine that I got you? Asked Soph. No, I'm saving it, Soph. I'm saving it for a special occasione. I've got, how many? I think, right, I might have told you a lie. Sophie, yes, I think I have. And it was lovely. At the moment in the posh stock, I've got the 3 bottles that Joe very kindly gave me. But yeah, the ones before that, I drank them all, and they were all lovely. Actually, they were all really nice. A hell of a lot better than the slop that I drink on a daily basis. Neil says, I had a drive in my first Interceptor last year when I went to it for a box vault. And they say you never meet your heroes, but I loved every second of it. What a stunning car. Ben says, can you give away 5 large glasses of wine and pour yourself a membership instead? Asking for everyone. Oh, dear. Oh, Sophie, bless you. You're very sweet. I tell you what we should talk about. Our own plans for the summer, spring and summer ahead, and potential community plans for the spring and summer ahead. Let's not let another year slip by where we don't really wring the necks out of it, either just ourselves or with our families, or get some community stuff going as well. I'm planning a trip down south at some point, down to Devon, and catch up with some friends and people down there. As you know, I've got lots of plans to be spending some time at home in South Wales. I've got plans to go back to North Wales, get my arse up the Great Orme, try and find a dodgy Liverpudlian at 2:00 in a cheap hotel. Oh, bloody hell. Camping, says Neil. And then he says, I found you a tent out as well. Oh, good. Well, me and Neil are going to Blackpool next week, and I'm excited, says Soph. So you should be. The roller coaster capital of Europe. Why would you not be excited? Bloody hell. That's early. Next week. Is it open? I forgot to ask Mustard for a Project Nigel sticker, says John. Oh, well, never mind. I'm sure we can sort something out. Right, time to pour a glass of wine, darlings. As we stumble into the second hour of this symposium. First hour's fairly slipped by, hasn't it? Right, let's take the glass from the fridge. Let's get our cheap wine out of the freezer. Oh, it's not the really bad stuff, is it? I forgot this was on offer. And it is now officially 11 o'clock. Wonderful. And time to give away some channel memberships. I wonder who's watching that isn't a channel member. I like the idea of all of you guys, all of my inner scrotum, inner sanctum being channel members. That would be nice. Listen to me, hear what I say. Our hearts could be nearer to... Oh, it's opening weekend, says Neil. Half price tickets, and we're stopping in the Big Blue right next to the Pleasure Beach. Good for you. Cheers, darlings. Your very good health. Oh. Right, let's do the old channel memberships. Are you ready? Okay, right, let's give you some warning. Now, and listen, because this is important. When I press the channel membership thing, a green overlay thing will pop up at the top of your live chat. You need to click on that, and you need to make sure it's set to allow gifts or accept gifts. If you haven't clicked that, then you won't be able to get one and you'll miss out, and that would be a shame. So, are you ready? I'll give you the countdown. It'll pop up and you need to click on the doings. Okay, here we go. So I press that. Okay, here we go then. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. There we go. Click on the thing at the top and we'll see who gets them. You need to be quick, be quick, be quick. Oh, right, let's see who we got. Right, they've all gone. That was quick. Nightcrawler 34, Steve Kolg, Carlos Fandango's Super Wide Wheels, Jimmy F500, and Chaz Brown. That's brilliant. 5 lovely people. And that means that, so welcome to channel membership, you 5. And I hope you enjoy your month. And if you do, it can always be extended afterwards. Right, I need to close this down. How do I do that? God, still haven't learned how to do this properly. Shut down, that's it. Yeah, shut down. There we are. And this can go back near to the glove of self-love. Plug it into the doings. Try not to burn my top on the candle. Oh, thank you. There we go. That's that. Jolly good. Right then, my lovelies, that's all of that dealt with. Yes, you do, Carlos. Sorry about that. I saw the yellow one today, Boaty, and I showed you it. You did indeed, John. You did indeed. Oh, Simone is here. Hello. Hello, Simone. Hooked on Classics, community channel. Well worth subscribing to. Splendid. Splendidly presented. Interesting content. You're very welcome, Carlos. Barry Scrotter is with us and says, hello. I always forget that Monday is earlier. Yep, 10 o'clock on a Monday, darlings. The restaurant is closed. Now, let's see. Is there any restaurant news to update you on? Well, you've all seen New Bob. He's doing well. No other updates, really. Still waiting for upstairs to get sorted out. And I kind of wish that would hurry up a bit. I'm hoping that comes through for next month, really. I'd like to kickstart that project, get that one moving, because I think it's worthwhile, and I think I would enjoy it, and I think it would be good fun. And I also selfishly think it would make for really good content, because I quite fancy the idea of having a bigger, more successful YouTube channel where, it must be bloody amazing to have a channel where you stick a video up and you get 5,000 views in the first day. That would be fantastic. And you actually earn money for sticking a video up, more than like 12p. So you could go out and do something really exciting and exotic and think, well, I'll earn money off the video. It's worth doing. I just can't think of a way to make it happen. I wish I could. But equally, you know, I I I love doing this as well. And I like the fact that I can be silly and nonsensical and I don't have to worry about putting up quality content because you lot of friends, you know that whatever I put up is going to be crap and you watch it anyway, bless you. And that takes, oh, hello. Bloody hell, not again, says Jimmy F500. Yep, sorry. Hello. Oh, Carlos Fandango Super Wide Wheels has gifted a membership. Gosh. Carlos, that's very kind of you. And it has gone to Simone, the lovely Simone of Hooked on Classics. And Simone is one of the people that I'm going to be seeing when I have my trip down to Devon. I'm quite looking forward to that. It's one of the trips I'm determined to do at least once this year because it will be, it'll tick a few boxes. It'll be a road trip and hotel adventure. That's kind of one box ticked. It'll be the chance to catch up with friends, old and new. My lovely Fran, I haven't seen her for a few years now. She's down in Torquay. Fran is the lovely lady that I used to, we used to have adventures together. She came to Malta and Gozo with me many times. I've got so many good stories of me and Fran, but I don't want to tell them until we're together because she will probably tell them better than I do. And she's got an infectious laugh. She'll completely lose the plot when we remember them. There's one story, and it's 100% true. Fran will tell you, and it will blow your socks off. Shall I give you a sneak preview of it? Shall I give you a sneak preview of it? Okay. I won't mention any names or anything, so I won't completely spoil it. But me and Fran, we used to bugger off to the Maltese Islands together, and it used to be mad. She would drive up from Devon to here. She'd spend the night here. We would get horrendously drunk, try and make our way to the airport the next morning in God knows what sort of state, and then roll off the plane, find the car in the car park in Malta, and on it would go. And we had mutual friends who had a bar restaurant in Ara where I stayed. They kind of followed me out there as well. Oh God, there are some stories there. But the one I'm going to tell you about quickly. We were at the hotel. We'd had breakfast, and we were out on the terrace, looking over the sea, having coffee and a cigarette. And we were just chatting about stuff. And there was a young couple at the table next to us. And they'd obviously heard us talking and said very politely, they sounded American and they were incredibly polite. And they said, pardon us butting in, but you sound as if you know the islands very well. And we said, yeah, we really do. We spend a lot of time here. And they said, well, we're only here for 3 days. What would you suggest that we absolutely must see? We're on a tour of Europe. And we chatted with them and we were telling them things. But we both said to them, you must go to Gozo for the day. You must go to Gozo. And they saying, how do we get there? And we're saying, you can get there on the bus. You can go onto the ferry as a foot passenger. And then Fran and I sort of looked at each other at some point and said, look, we're having our Gozo day today. We've only got a small car, but if you want, you can jump in with us. And they said, we would love that. Thank you so much. So we all went back to our rooms to, get ready and whatnot before meeting up to go off. And Fran and I were chatting and sort of saying, look, They're a young couple. They're they're doing some kind of whiz-stop backpack tour of Europe. They'll be doing it on a budget of nothing. They'll have no bloody money. Let's help them out. Let's give them the day in Gozo. They won't have to pay for the bus to get there. They won't have to pay for the ferry. It'll really help them out, and then that'll be money that that they can spend on other, on other parts of their trip. Let's do this. And so we did. So I had my car, which was a Toyota Aygo in yellow, proper custard missile. Loved that car. That was my Malta car. And off we went, driving from Ara to Chikeva at the very north of the island to get the ferry to go to Gozo. And we just had a blast. They were hilarious, these two. Obviously, they were young enough to be our children, just about. But we just really hit it off, and we had the best day. Now, initially, we said, look, we'll drive you there. We'll get you to the capital of Gozo. We'll get you to Victoria, and you don't want to be stuck with two old farts all day. So you can do your own thing, whatever. And if you want, we can swap numbers, and you can come back with us. But you don't have to be stuck with us all day. Don't worry about that. But we had such a laugh getting there that they sort of said we'd love to spend the whole day with you if you'd have us. And we said, yeah, cool, no problem at all. So we shared our whole Gozo day with us. I took them all around the island, because Gozo is a small island, took them to all the places they needed to see. And amazingly, when we went to, oh God, it's gone now. It's gone now. It actually collapsed into the sea. And I've got a mental block on what it was called. If you know Gozo, you'll know what I'm talking about. The rock archway in the sea. And I can't remember what it's called. It collapsed the year after, I think. But amazingly, at that point there, one of the most romantic spots on earth, he proposed. He got down on one knee and proposed to her. So that made it kind of a magical day anyway. And we thought, oh, we're a little part of this. That's so lovely. And we went for an amazing lunch at my favourite place, St. Patrick's Hotel, Shalendi Bay. And it was just a fabulous day. One of my favourite days ever. And because they were young kids, doing this thing on a budget of God knows how small their budget was, but we assumed pennies. We didn't let them pay for anything. I filled it with fuel. They offered to pay. I refused it. We had a really nice lunch. They offered to pay for the whole thing. Then we refused that. Then they tried to pay for their share. We refused that. They tried to pay for the ferry. We refused that. We had coffee and like afternoon tea on the ferry on the way back. They tried to pay for that. We refused it. We didn't take a single cent off them, not a single euro. They paid for nothing all day. And we were glad to do it. Fran is a successful businesswoman. So believe me, she's not short of a bob or two, not by any manner or means. I was divorced at this point, but I was still, I was working with Sainsbury's. I was doing okay. And I was with Fran, and Fran was very generous. So we were happy to pay for absolutely everything. And by the time, it was dark by the time we were driving back to the hotel. And these two they were so grateful, and they said, "We've had such a fabulous day. Do you do Facebook?" And we said, "Yeah, yeah, we live on Facebook. Can we be friends on Facebook?" We said, "Yeah, of course." Um, Told them our Facebook names. They searched for them, sent friend requests, both of them to us both. We both accepted them. That's that. And then we got back to the hotel. They were then going to go out for the night, celebrate their engagement, whatnot. And we were going to do our normal thing. We were going to go to Mary and Julian's bar, go to the casino, and end up at Lucy's restaurant. Normal thing. But back in the hotel room, chilling out, little bit of time before we're going out for the evening, checked out the friend request, clicked on the profile, and I won't tell you his name. I won't even tell you the sport. But that young man who we treated that entire day was the number one man in the world at his particular sport. And he earned an enormous amount of money. I mean, an enormous amount of money. We're talking about many, 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 many millions of monies per year. Insanely rich. And we just pissed ourselves. We thought, well, we've refused to take a single penny off these bloody people, and it would have meant less than nothing to them. Less than nothing. And I thought, I should have spotted something, because when they were trying to pay for lunch at Chlendy Bay, he pulled out a wad of euros, and it was a wad of 50s. Just pulled them out and went to, and I'm thinking, that's his budget for the entire trip. It was probably his budget for the bloody day, or just for lunch. He probably had 3,000 euros there just sitting in his bleeding pocket. Oh God. And we just wet ourselves out. The kind of thing that could only happen to us. But they were lovely people, and we are still in touch with them to this day. They're married now. They have children. He's still a very successful sportsman. She's still very beautiful, and they're still the loveliest couple that you could ever meet. But there you go. That's one of the stories that you would hear if and when Fran and I get together. The rest are filthier. there are a lot of the stuff that went on in that bar in Ara with the gang, with Julian and with Mary and with, oh God Almighty. And Fran would tell you all of that. So yeah, but that's one of the reasons that I want to go to Devon, catch up with Fran. I haven't seen her since the beginning of the pandemic, and we are very, very close. So I would love to catch up with her, and I would love to get her on camera. That would be just hilarious. And other than that, I was talking about the boxes. So box number 1 was road trip, hotel adventure. Box number 2, catching up with friends, old and new. Fran would be the old friend. I would love to see Simone. I wouldn't go down there and not see Simone. Love to meet Simone. Love to get some stuff on film together. Not like professional YouTubey stuff, just having a laugh. You know me. That's the stuff I like to do. Have a drink, have a laugh, have a giggle. Get that up there. And box number 3 would be the trip down memory lane, which is what I want to do a lot of this year. That's why I want to go home to South Wales to show you things from my memory banks and my history and whatnot. And of course, I did spend time living in Devon when I was with the lovely Lisa. And but even apart from that, then there are childhood memories of Devon. My mother was very fond of Devon, and before we started gallivanting overseas, we used to spend a lot of time in in the Torbay area. I'd love to show you Oddicombe Beach, the funicular railway, if you've not seen it. So much stuff. Do apologise, that was a wine burp, completely unavoidable. So yeah, yeah, that will be one of the trips this year, and I'm really looking forward to that. I'm constrained. I mean, there are loads of things that I would love to do, but I am constrained. And I'll be honest with you guys. If I want time off from the restaurant, obviously I can have it. It's not a problem. But the restaurant operates under a Nepali regime. So, don't ask about sick pay or holiday pay or things like that. Yeah. Doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. So, as things stand at the moment, this year, then I can go away on a Monday morning, not super early because I'll have been working Sunday night. I can be away on Monday night and I need to be back to the restaurant at 6 o'clock on a Tuesday night. So whatever gadding about I do, it needs to be constrained within leaving Monday morning, getting back for work on Tuesday night, because I can't afford to have a Tuesday night off. In the future, hopefully that will happen, where I can turn it into a 2-night thing, and that will give me a lot more freedom to do. But honestly, if you think I'm joking about this or exaggerating about it, those of you who know me best, you know that I'm not, and I just can't afford to lose a Tuesday night at work. It would be like a double whammy. It would be, not only would it be losing the Tuesday night wage, but you'd also be spending money out on another night in a hotel, bit more petrol. It's not going to happen this year, not unless some fairy waves a magic wand. In the future, hopefully, but this year it's going to be strictly one night only. But I reckon I can do Devon in one night. It's not a problem, is it? I mean, if I set off from here at like 10 o'clock on a Monday morning, then I can be down in Devon for what, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That would give me a bit of time to have a look around, do whatever, meet up with whoever I'm going to meet up with on the Monday night, have some fun, hotel live stream, try and blag a free breakfast, and have a bit of time in the morning to head to the beach or to do whatever, and leave Devon at like, I don't know, 12 o'clock, something like that. That would still give me a couple of hours in the morning to drive around, have a look at something or other. And I could still be back, if necessary. I can just take my work clothes and go straight to the restaurant on the Tuesday night. And the same would apply to going home to South Wales. North Wales is easier because that's a lot closer for me. So North Wales is easy to do on a one night over. But there we are. So anyway, Simone got the free channel membership, well, the gifted channel membership from the lovely Carlos. So well done, Simone, and thank you again, Carlos. Very kind of you. John says, my next wish, oh God, he's got a wish list here. My next wish is to go to Windy Bottom and spend time at yours, Jason. I'm sure we can make that happen, John. I'm sure we could grab you here for lunch. Oh, God, lunch would be awkward with you, wouldn't it? Oh, God, I'd have to think what to give you for lunch because, you and your dodgy tummy. But, yeah, I'm sure we can do that. I'd love to have you all here for lunch. I mean, we can go back to the idea that I was mooting last year. I would love to have like community Sundays here. Now, Sundays are difficult for me to go to a meet somewhere else because I don't get time. But if the meet was here, and we did do one last year, where we met at my local pub um, and had a lovely time. Actually, that was a fabulous day. But we could easily do community Sundays here, depending on who wanted to come. I could host it here at the cottage. I can make lunch. I've got the option of using the village hall, which would easily house up to 50 people. Or we could meet at the pub. So I'd be very happy to do that. If any of you fancied on a Sunday coming up, maybe staying the Saturday night if you wanted to make a weekend of it, or just coming, having a nice drive around the peak on a Sunday morning, and then meeting up with me either here or at the pub or at the village hall at 11 o'clock, and have a 3 or 4 hour community session where, if you're into cars, you could look at each other's cars, go out for a drive with other people, have a drive in my cars, do some filming with my cars, and then we could have a nice lunch together. Do all that. I mean, I know it's difficult for those of you who live in Australia or America, but those of you who are more local, I'd love to do that. So, John, one way or another, I'll make sure you get up here. Bum, bum. There we are. There we are. Jimmy F500 is just going to take his meds. Bear with, not a problem. Simone says, Boaty, I had some unfortunate news last night. Oh dear. An ex-friend has moved back to my area who is a narcissistic control freak and a compulsive liar. Very intimidating, and I'm rather worried. Oh, hello. Who's that coming home? Oh, Simone. Well, what advice can we give Simone? Gosh. Well, if they're an ex-friend, then make sure they stay an ex-friend. Don't let them try. Oh, if they were to try, don't let them jump back into a situation where they could. I don't know. That's a tricky one, isn't it? Well, we're all here with you, so keep us posted. Let us know what's going on, and between us all, I'm sure we can. I'm sure we can keep things on the straight and narrow. I mean, the one thing that I love about our little community is that we've proved that it's not just an online and virtual thing. We've proved it's not just words are easy thing, and we've proved that it's not just an organized meetup flogging merch thing, because we've started doing real life things now. People have put themselves out. Joe is the perfect example. Joe drove up from Cornwall today, which is a mighty trip in and of itself. But he diverted and stopped to pick John up and to bring John, and we had a fun day together. We didn't do anything special. We did a bit of filming. We did a live stream. We had a lunch, and we had a lot of laughs. But that's a real thing, isn't it? And even the people that aren't able to do that locally, I know for a fact that many people in the community have made a genuine real life difference to other people in the community. And Ross, thank you again from me personally. And I think that's just a fabulous thing. So let's remember that, and let's remember that whatever this little thing that we do is, it's not a nonsense. It is real. So if any of you are going through anything or worried about anything or whatever, similar to Simone, you're not alone. We're all here with you, and either remotely or in real life or whatever, we'll be able to help sort things out. Don't sweat it, Simone. And anyway, you should be I mean, I don't know when this happened with your ex-friend, and I don't know what sort of state you were in, but surely you must be. I'm assuming that if that happened, then I'm guessing that you weren't perhaps as confident as you could have been at the time. But you must have a higher level of confidence now. If nothing else, then from the YouTube stuff. And I don't just mean the fact that you sit and put a video out here and there. I mean the fact that you're part of a variety of communities and a very valued part, and people value you, they see merit in you, they like you, and that's got to be a confidence booster, hasn't it? So don't worry about any stuff like that. You've got us. You ain't going to deal with it on your own. I know exactly where you're mentioning, says Andrew, but I can't remember the name. I'm trying to. Oh God. One of you's probably already mentioned it, but I'm going to have to look because it's annoying me that I can't remember. That's it. The Azure window. The Azure window. And now I can't remember the name of the bay where the Azure window was located. But the Azure window was a kind of rocky outcrop that had developed into an archway. And the problem was that despite it being fenced off and many signs and whatnot, warning people not to walk on it, people did. And that weakened it, and it got weaker and weaker and weaker. And then one day in a storm, very sadly, collapsed into the sea. But yeah, but there you go. That was where our friend proposed to his now wife, and then had a free lunch on us. God, lovely people. Evening all, and hello, Boaty, says Mark Prasad. A Capwap consideration. Name me -1 is here. Hello. Simone says, OPWAP consideration. Christina from What the Rust YouTube channel. Have a butchers, as you might say. Something popped up on my YouTube feed about chance to win a Range Rover from a YouTube channel called Lucy on Cars. Never heard of it, but she looked all right. I'm not going to watch her videos, but she must be quite a big channel. I'd never heard of her, but if she can afford to sponsor adverts on a Facebook feed, her channel must be doing okay. It probably is, because she's a young woman with a nice smile and busty substances, so she's probably got 64 million subscribers. Barry says, if you can stop by Cwmbran, that would mean a lot, mate. Not a problem. Yeah, not a problem. My pleasure to stop by Cwmbran. Best thing to do, chick, says Neil, talking to Simone, is to stay well away. Don't let them worm their way back into your life. Sometimes it's best to keep some distance from them, but if they're local, you can keep an eye on them. And Mark says, bang on, fella. Well, Simone, if you do bump into him again, then just, put your big girl pants on, shoulders back, and just don't let anybody make you feel in any way less than, or in any way concerned, or in any way worried. And even if you do, don't let them bloody see it. So shoulders back. If they speak to you, say hello and carry on. Carry on about your business. Good evening, says HW100. And good God, I've actually caught up with the comments. I'm doing well tonight, aren't I? Professional. Oh, yes. The Azure window. Right. 24 minutes left with you lovely people. What should we do with them? What I did enjoy today, actually, was playing Just a Minute. I love that game. Oh, Neil, don't let anyone steal your joy. That is actually really good advice. Really good advice. And it's amazing how easy it is for that to happen. Um, Even if I wasn't as old and unattractive as I undoubtedly am, then I think I would still be very tempted to stay single, because when you do have somebody who sucks the joy out of you, then life is not pleasant, but you don't realize it at the time. That's the problem. It's kind of like Stockholm syndrome, isn't it? Oh, why now to the freezer says name me -1. Well said. Oh, just in time. Just in time. It's just freezing. Oh, well said. Well rescued. Excellent. Right, well, with the wine safe, we can settle in for the home stretch. Oh, my mum is called Joy. I had a thing with a lady called Joy. I was introduced to her. I was introduced to her at the Bel Air, actually, the Bel Air, the nightclub at the Belfry. And Fred, the lovely Fred of Fred and Caroline, Fred introduced me with a twinkle in his eye. And there was just this vision of a woman. And I just said the first, and he said, Jace, this is Joy. And I just looked at her up and down, took a while. She was a tall girl. And I just said the first thing that came into my mind: a thing of beauty is a joy forever. And uh, might sound cheesy, wasn't meant to be. It certainly wasn't a pickup line. It was genuinely the first thing that came into my mind. And yeah, we had a thing for a while, and she was oh she was lovely. She was lovely. She was all posh and horsey. And, we were talking about air hostesses and nurses earlier. Well, I would add posh, horsey women into that mix, as in, leave your trousers at home. Sorry to be disrespectful or generalizing, but Joy, yeah, Joy was lovely. Dear me. I can't remember why that ended. Can't remember. Yeah. My mum's name, says Barry, was Jennifer. Dad was John. You can read about him in my book, since the boss is pretty much my dad. And well done on getting a plug in there for your book, which is now available for pre-order. And if you jump onto Barry's channel, which is that guy from SETI Alpha 5, then you will find not only where you can pre-order the book, but you will also get a discount code. Oh, yes. Couldn't agree more on women who ride horses, says Neil. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a thing, isn't it? Joy. Oh, God, I haven't thought about Joy for ages. Now, bizarrely, she lived in Yardley Wood. I do remember that. And I can't remember why we decoupled, or whatever you call it. We weren't together all that long. I just remember her being lovely. Being with her was really nice. Sex was certainly amazing, but I don't remember ever falling out, and I don't remember why we split up. Um, must be one of those things, I suppose. I mean, it would have been me. It was always me. I was always the reason why a relationship ended, one way or another. Not in that I did anything wrong, just in that it would normally be me who ended it for some reason. With the And that was the same all the way through my life until Bernard came along, and Bernard is the only one where it's been unrequited on my side, where I wanted things to continue and they didn't, and it wasn't through my particular doing. But I can't remember with Joy. No, genuinely can't remember. Oh, I've just remembered why. God, Joy must have been longer ago than I thought. Ah, yeah. Joy came in a break after Sasha and I split up. That's why Fred introduced us. I remember now. Um, Oh, you know, when friends around you see things that you don't, and they know what's good for you when you don't, and they recognize when you're making a bad decision. And when Sash and I split up, um, which was my doing, um, then everybody sort of said, yeah, good thing, move on, blah, blah, blah. And that was why Fred introduced me to Joy. That's right. And then Sasha and I ended up getting back together. And that's right. Oh, blimey. Oh, dear. I want to sell up down south, says HW100, and move north to semi retire. You've been about, Mr. Boaty. Any suggestions? Um, Gosh, well, generally speaking, then you get more for your money in the north. And it depends what you're after, I suppose, what you look for in somewhere to live. I mean, there are some beautiful areas. I mean, again, this is a massive generalization, but I would generally say that I think I would prefer to live in the north than the south, I think. Um, partly because of the countryside. Um, I like it a bit bleak, and I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I've got friends who've moved from south to north when they came towards retirement um, because you get so much more for your money, and because they found somewhere that they fell in love with. I mean, I guess my advice would be explore, come and explore, and spend time in various places until one particular place grabs your heart and says, you'd be happy here. And I bet you there will be somewhere. There will be somewhere that will just make you think you would be happy here. And I would make that the starting point. And then you can rationalize it by, in terms of what you get for your money and so on after that. But I mean, the piece of advice I would give to anybody would be life is short and you only get one of them. Live somewhere, make the effort to live somewhere where just waking up and looking outside is a joy. Live somewhere where coming home from work or wherever you've been is a joy. Live somewhere where you would rather be at home than be on holiday. And I love hotels. I love a nice hotel. But as I've said many times before, I struggle to stay in a hotel now because I will always try and come home. because I love this home. I love the cottage itself. I love where the cottage is. I love everything about it. Look for something like that. Live somewhere where you can truly live, where every day is literally a joy, where it is I mean, everybody's home is their safety net, their place of safety, their place of pleasure. But honestly, don't tell me that living in well, take Sean, our new friend Sean, as an example. In the last month or so, he's moved from a room in a shared house in London to an old miner's cottage in South Wales, and it's chalk and cheese. I know that you get the best out of wherever you live. You will always do that. But live somewhere special. The cost of living is shit, right? Gas costs a fortune. Electricity costs a fortune. Food is actually coming down in price, thank God. But but it's expensive everywhere. Private renting is expensive everywhere. It's difficult to get on the property ladder and buy somewhere if you're not already on the property ladder. But that is true everywhere. So if you're going to struggle, if life is going to be a struggle, and let's be honest, for most of us it is. It might still be a joy. Certainly it is for me, but the chances are that elements of your life are going to be a struggle. You're going to struggle to pay the bills. You're going to struggle to get through the winter, keep your head above water. For most of us, especially recently, life is not easy. Harder for some than others. But if it's going to be a struggle, do it somewhere where you can add to the scales. You remember I used to talk about the id and the ego when it came to mental health, right? Add to the plus side. If you've got life knocking you down because the cost of living has gone mad, this has gone mad, that has gone mad, add something to the other side. So if you're going to struggle wherever you live somewhere that makes the struggle worthwhile. Live somewhere that tugs on your heart. And the only places are genuinely, when I think about all of the places that I've lived, then the true feeling of that has only been here and home in South Wales. Paris was amazing, and I wouldn't have missed it for the world, but not quite the same. Chicago was amazing. Vegas was amazing. Kyiv in Ukraine was amazing. Cyprus was amazing. I'm glad I lived in all those places. But they didn't give quite the same sensation as being here or being at home in South Wales. I don't know how to describe it. I used to drive to the cottage in South Wales when I was married. I used to drive to the cottage in South Wales whenever I could. I even commuted from there to work in Birmingham, like a 4-hour commute each way, something crazy, which might seem like mad. But the truth of it was this: when I drove home to the cottage and when I was driving down the heads of the valleys, then as I was dropping down off the top of the beacons, I've gone past Dowlais Top, I've gone past Hirwain, and I'm dropping down off the Recos Mountain, off the beacons, and I'm dropping down into Glynneads and Pont-Nesfecyn. I could feel my blood pressure dropping, literally. I could feel myself relaxing. And it was just a thing that came over me and it said, it's okay, you're home. Now, it was worth driving 4 hours to get that because I would have a good, amazing night of happiness and happy sleep and contentment and safety. And I wouldn't have got that. My flat above the showrooms was amazing. You couldn't wish for a more amazing flat. It had everything. I had a bathroom the size of most one bedroom flats, the whole floor plan. I had a huge jacuzzi. I had four-poster bed. I had water bed. I had every gadget known to man. I had the most amount. It was stunning, absolutely stunning. But it was nothing compared to that little cottage in South Wales. And I get the same thing here. Have done ever since I came here. When I come home at night from the restaurant or from wherever, then as I drive up the hill, you've done it with me 1,000 times, all of you. As I drive up the hill and the artificial light fades away and the noise fades away and everything becomes black and still, and then I see the little twinkling outside light of the cottage, I can't tell you how, maybe happy is the wrong word. It doesn't make me deliriously happy, hooray, hooray, that sort of thing. It just takes everything else away. It takes all of the stress away. It takes all of the worry away. It's just, that's okay, you're going home. And then you get in to the surroundings that you love and you do whatever you do, make yourself some food, pour yourself a glass of wine, whatever you do. And life is amazing. So I would say seek somewhere like that out, because it's not necessarily where you are now. But I promise you, it is doable. It is doable. However short on money you might think you are, there are ways of doing it. And I would genuinely urge you all to do it with all of my heart. It makes such a difference having that special base. In fact, I was talking about this today. I'm going to make more of an effort over the next few months to try and show you a bit more why I love this place. You know, I'm not a particularly private person. I shared a lot with you. You all know exactly where I live. I've never made a secret of it, but I don't think I've properly shown you around the cottage, humble as it is. And I don't think I've properly shown you around the local area. You know, maybe walking around it, doing that sort of thing. So I'm going to do a bit more of that. So just maybe so you understand why I've got the connection with this place. And I'll certainly do it when I go back home to South Wales. So that would be my advice. Find somewhere to live where your heart is happy. Not that's flash, not that's a status symbol, not that says I've made it, not that says I've got this amount of money. When I was married, we lived in a beautiful detached house on an upper middle class, expensive road with a fabulous, wasn't a huge house, 5 bedrooms, not massive, but 5-bedroom detached house, double garage, 4-car driveway, that kind of thing. And I hated it. I hated it because it had no soul. It had no character. I couldn't connect with it. It was a nice house. It was the same as the house next door, and the same as the house on the other side of the road, and the same as the house up the road. And there was no, it was soulless. It was just soulless. So it didn't matter that you could say, right, I live at this address. That means I'm upper middle class. That means I've made it. I hated it. And that was one of the problems in the marriage, was that I never wanted to be there. I always wanted to be somewhere else. And we very nearly did. We very nearly swapped houses with my sister-in-law. That's probably a story for another day because it's getting a bit late. Let's whiz through these comments. Let's say and let's say our good night because it is. It's coming up to midnight. Now, where did I get to? Ah, about here, wasn't it? Ah, that's right. Thank you, Neil. The difference is, Boaty, they are used to riding without falling off something that you haven't mastered yet. Thank you for that, Neil. Yeah. Oh, Mark Passad gifted 5 memberships. Bloody hell. Mark, that is exceedingly kind of you. I'm so sorry. I was rambling on and I missed that. Right, who got them? Let's see. Name me -1. Brilliant. Well done, you. Ah, Stephanie Smith's got a channel membership. Excellent. Chris Maguire, brilliant. Peter Plus, excellent. And Kevin Hughes. Ah, Mark, thank you so much. Really, really grateful for that. And that's incredibly kind. 5 memberships. So 5 new channel members to suffer even more nonsense and indulge in all the perks that channel membership has to offer. Oh, brilliant. What a lovely way to end things. Having just been to the Big Smoke on Sunday, says Name Me -1, I couldn't get back up north fast enough. I totally with you there. Totally with you. I lived in London only the once. Layoun and I lived in London. We had a flat in West Ealing that we got from a celebrity chef, and he very kindly left most of the kitchen equipment because he was off on. He got a really good TV deal, and at the same time he got a cruise liner deal where one of the big cruise liner things he had his own restaurant on the cruise liner. So yeah, we took his flat and he left a load of the kitchen stuff there. I have to head out, says Barry. I would love to visit England, says Andrea, to see where Mum's side of the family came from. But the major downside is your bloody weather. If it's not raining, it's snowing. HW100 asks, how did you end up where you settled? Oh, ask that question again another night. It's midnight and it would take me. I mean, I'll give you a very short answer. It was a woman. The reason I am where I am now, I was living in, where was I? I was living in North Africa. Came back to visit family, do whatever. I was single at the time, did what I normally do, went on to UDate, which was always my dating site of choice, picked the most attractive woman that I could see, messaged her. We arranged to meet up that night for a date. Where was I? I was down in Worcestershire somewhere, staying down there for my visit. She was up here in Chesterfield. I drove up. We met up, we had our date, and she became my wife. So there you go. That was how I ended up here. And then when we divorced, for various reasons, I decided to stay here. If I had my time over again, honestly, I would probably have gone home to South Wales at that point. Maybe. Or maybe I wouldn't. No, actually, I probably. Oh, God. At the time, I had kind of 3 choices. I was torn between staying here, going home to South Wales, and moving to Malta. But there are quite a few factors involved. The one was that although we were divorcing, I was still actually in a relationship with my wife stroke ex-wife. There was my father, who was still alive at the time, to consider because I was caring for him. And there were various reasons why I decided to stay here. And as it turned out, I haven't regretted it. 97 miles left, says Joe. Oh, bless you, Joe. You're nearly there. You'll be home in an hour now. You drive safely, mate. I was never going to get on the property ladder, says Simone. I am the only member of my family that rents, but I don't care. Simone, we're in the same boat now. I'm a renter. I've owned property. I've owned many properties. I am now a renter, and that has its benefits as well as its downsides. And always remember that any kind of looking down because you rent, that's only a UK thing. In many other societies, renting is absolutely the norm for everybody. So don't be worrying about that. Everybody's saying hello to Joe and wishing him a safe drive home. For me, says Mark, being content is as good as it gets. And you can do with not a lot. I completely agree. Good night, chat. Good night, Boaty, says John. Great night as per usual, says Jim. Been a joy and a giggle. Good night to all. So glad you enjoyed it. Good night, John, says I was Spotty Botty. Oh, hello. Sean has popped in right at the death. Evening all. Only just getting in, so we'll go back to the start to watch. Sean, really kind of you to pop in, my dear chap. Where have you been, you dirty stop out? Hey? Getting home at midnight. What have you been up to? Cured? I don't know. Painting the town red there in the Rhondda Valley. What's his name? The allotment guy. Terry Walton, isn't it? I've got visions of Sean and Terry Walton hosting fabulously inappropriate parties in the allotment shed. Oh, you've been editing the video for Tuesday. Oh, brilliant. Well, I shall look forward to that. That'll be something to wake up to. Sean, what was it with the live this morning? I woke up this morning quite early and there was a live on your windowsill. But I clicked on it and then I kind of dozed off. And I went to it tonight when I got back from the yard, and it's kind of not there. Was it a bird feeder live to see which birds came and oh bloody hell. Our local fish shop burnt down, so all buses were cancelled for a while. Oh dear. Oh, okay. Testing an old webcam and laptop. Right. Well, just keep doing what you're doing, mate. Your videos, I absolutely love them. You're number one on my subscription list. Now, you know how it alters depending on who you watch the most. And whoever you watch the most ends up at the top. And Sean has surpassed Captain Mustard. He is now my number one watch channel. And again, if any of you haven't watched his videos, subscribe to his channel. Please do. You won't regret it. He doesn't need the subscribers. He gets about, what are you getting, Sean? Must be 400 or 500 a day at the moment. Absolutely insane. And with views to match. But it doesn't matter whether he needs you. You will enjoy him. I promise you. Visit to Caerphilly Castle. Excellent. Oh, Sean's getting all the love from everybody now, isn't he? Well, I'll leave you all to say goodnight to each other for a minute. And then I will say goodnight to you all. Thank you all for being here. It's been a fabulous night. I love Monday nights with you. I love the Mondays as well because it's a 2-hour minimum. There's the dynamic slightly changes after 11 o'clock. Possibly because a glass of wine has been poured. And thank you all. I was talking about where I live and, advice, not that it's for me to advise anybody. But I was talking about what makes your heart happy. And I should add that all of you guys fit into, kind of factor into that. You're part of the whole Windy Bottom thing. And you guys, each and every one of you, you are very much part of what makes my heart happy. You make me feel, um, you make me feel warm, welcomed, loved, cared about, and I just thank you all for being there. I love these times that we have together, and I honestly couldn't value you any. That's tricky to say, isn't it? Value you, value you. I couldn't value you any more than I do. And oh, James Oldroyd, hello. So, on that note, darlings, I am going to bid you all a very, very good night. Again, thank you so much for being with me. And thank you for being with each other. And thank you for being my friends and for being an amazing community and giving your time to this little thing we've got together. Have a safe and peaceful night, please, each and every one of you. Stay safe, stay warm, and have the best day that you possibly can tomorrow. Remember, every day is an opportunity for joy. Grasp it with both hands and don't let any bugger even try to take it away from you. And I will see you tomorrow night. Not same time, same place, different time. 11 o'clock, Tuesday night live. Can't wait to see you. All right, darlings. Much love from me, and I'll see you tomorrow night. Bye bye. Oh, and massive thanks. Sorry, I was just massive thanks to Mark for gifting those 5 memberships. Massive thanks to massive thanks to Carlos Fandango, who also gifted a membership. And congratulations to 11 new channel members. I gifted 5, Mark gifted 5, Carlos as well. 11 fabulous new channel members. So that's wonderful. And now I really am going. You can all bugger off to sleep, I promise. But I can't wait to see you tomorrow night, 11 o'clock. Bye-bye. For you, and indeed, bosh.